Nako nashu tine deane sine deanin deane estes abeshe u nauzane. Creator, thank you for bringing us here together. Thank you for bringing us in peace and continue to guide us through the red road. Peace and brotherly love. My name is Snake Blocker. I am a retired petty officer in the United States Navy, the largest Navy in the world and the second largest Air Force in the world. And I'm proud to serve. As my father served in the Marines, as my uncles served in the Navy during Korean War, Vietnam War, father Vietnam War, grandfather World War II, all the way down to several great aunts down the road, which were also part of the Civil War, known as the States Wars. We come from a large line of Apaches, warriors that have joined the military, from cousins to brothers to sisters to aunts, uncles, children. We are a warrior clan. The Native Americans have the largest per capita of veterans in their society. And some people say, why do you think that is? And we see the epigenetics of what's in our body and what instills of us, and we still carry the epigenetics of that warrior clan. That doesn't change. Even if you grew up in a more passive, peaceful society or area, we still have that calling to be warriors. If we go back in time, early times of the Apaches, if you wanted to be a warrior as a young child, you were invited to attend raids and battles and skirmishes between natives and invaders. You assist the warriors in bringing their gear, survival gear, food, etc. There's strict rules for that young boy. They're not allowed to touch their fingertips on their hair. Their hair is linked, and their hair is an attachment. It's an antenna that feeds intuition and discernment and skill sets of the battlefield. They're not allowed to let liquid touch their lips. They must drink water with the mouth wide open, not allowing the lips to be moist for the kiss of death to want to take them away. Should a young child make it and live past 4 battles, they were invited into the warrior clan, which made their family very proud and more accepted within the society. I walked in, actually go back a little bit, 1989, I graduated high school. By 1990, I got invited to go into a recruiting station for the Marines to be a Marine like my father. I walked in and did several checks, but when I looked at their medical requirements, I did not qualify. I had what was diagnosed later as WPW with Parkinson's White syndrome. Fast forward to today, I've been healed. A miracle happened. Ussen, God, healed me, healed my body. I prayed. I'd asked for a miracle, although nothing's miracle for God. Went to a service, and there was a Brazilian pastor there visiting, preaching. He asked people in the audience with heart issues to pray with them and allow God to enter into our bodies and heal us, which he did. 100% healed today, no issues. A few years later, 2001, June, I walked into the recruiting station. I joined the Navy. Didn't think much was going to going on because it had been peacetime at that present. But a few months later, fast forward about 3-4 months, September 11th happened. I knew I was going to go to battle. And in my excitement, I searched out the units that I could join that were being mobilized at that time. This is 2003 now. And I volunteered to switch from the supply units into the cargo handling units to be mobilized to be the first large wave of 500 sailors to go to Kuwait and do the logistics for the operations going into Iraq. It was the largest operation since D-Day. I was proud to be part of that forward expeditionary unit, Alpha. So I was a plank owner into that. Ended up volunteering for quite a few smaller missions, both on the reserve side and the active duty side. Fast forward a year to 2005, I go to Iraq, did several details out there. I did some stuff as a reservist, some stuff as a contractor, working with Coalition Army, several different teams. And then fast forward to 2009, volunteered to go to Afghanistan, stayed there for a full tour, continued to stay there to support the war structure there as a contractor, working with the Army and working under a special Green Beret retiree in his company and securities, and did a lot of stuff at that point. People say, why did I volunteer for so much war zone activity? Why did I even join? And it was my calling. God tells us the path of which we take. We call that the red road. Should we veer from the red road in life and not go to our passions and our callings, we will surely perish. People said, Snake, why don't you just stay here? It's comfortable, it's not dangerous. I replied, the most dangerous place to be is outside the will of God. When God calls us, we must listen. We must obey. Gilyatle, well known to us today as Geronimo. I'll read one of his quotes. I was warmed by the sun, rocked by the wind, sheltered by the trees as other Apache babies. I was living peacefully until people began to speak badly. And then the war path started. If you're not familiar with Gilyatle and his reason for being such a well-known warrior among the Apaches is he had lived in peace for many years, had a wife, had kids. In one of his ventures where he was away from the town, they were hunting and gathering, going off in various areas. Enemies had came and murdered his wife and kids. He came back, took revenge on the warpath, and that was his red road at that time. Fast forward a few more years, he had remarried, had more kids. Same thing happened, he was out. The enemy had came by, killed his wife yet again, several children. He returned to the red road. He was attacked, he was killed, he came back to life, he continued his path. The Apaches know hardship. They know pain. They will not complain. The Apache knows better times lie ahead. But for now, more battles must be fought. Like Ussen, the famous warrior, she knew how many enemies were out there based on the sensation in her arms. So too, the Apache today feels that same sensation. We see many enemies around us. So we become warriors. We become sailors. We become guardsmen, coast guards. We become airmen. We fight to defend freedom. Seeing even now that freedom is in our own homeland. Apache warriors are not born. They are made to control fear, to overcome their childhood, and to thirst for what's to come. It's been an honor to serve. As of September 1st, 2021, I retired. I want to thank Command Master Chief Jackson. I petitioned, as per regulation, we are allowed to have hair long for ceremonies, and I'm preparing for my next stage, transitioning from the warrior to my next calling. So I encourage all you veterans to be proud to have served, to be proud to put away boyish ideas and boyish notations of what was, and understand that a man accepts what's to come. A man is not afraid, or a female is not afraid to be that warrior, to be that sailor, to be that soldier, to be that airman, that marine, that coast guard. I encourage all to serve well, serve honorably, to appreciate things to come. Like the tumbleweed back in the days when the Apaches lived in the underworld. Turtle Island was above us. We could see Turtle Island skies, for there were many holes that made the shape of the shell, and we could see upward. Half of life creatures were day creatures, half of them were night creatures. Yet there was many skirmishes between the two. For some like to do activity at night, some during the day. The day creatures wanted to go above onto Turtle Island and to explore and to expand. But there was issues, so they determined to play 4 contests. Fast forward, the day creatures won the contest, so they were all agreed to help each other to climb up the large surpass and large passages and journey upward, up into the sky, up into Turtle Island. There's many complications logistically going up there, for they tried the large branches, which ended up breaking as they worked their ladders upward. They used the feathers of the great eagle and the great thunderbird, but those too eventually broke. Then the bison came around with its long horns and agreed to interlock their horns together and work on steps, climbing up to Turtle Island. As more and more creatures climbed up, it would wear down the horns, and they became shorter and shorter. So by the time the bison made it to Turtle Island, their horns were short as you see today. But they were given great status among the Apaches for their efforts and their contribution. Some holes were too small, so they became to create their knives and their spears and make the holes larger and upward to make the openings large enough for all creatures to go to Turtle Island, where we live today. As they brought all the branches and the fruits and the plants and all the vegetation to plant upward, they thought they had it all, and when they were grabbing their last of their belongings and of their food sources, the tumbleweeds came over. The tumbleweeds said, "Take us upward. We also belong." The Apache says, "You are useless, tumbleweed, for you just blow from side to side and are of no use to us. You do not produce fruit. You do not produce vegetation. You do not produce oxygen. You will stay down here in Underworld." But the thunderbirds came and said, "Let him speak." And the tumbleweed said, "We have a plan. You agree to take us up to Turtle Island, fill us with all your grains and your seeds, and we will call to south wind and north wind, east wind and west wind, and they will blow us to all the parts of Turtle Island, of which we will spread your seeds, and you will have plenty. We will plant all the green vegetation on one side and all the yellow vegetation and plants and flowers on another. Same with the purples and the reds, the browns and such." So the Apaches agreed to take the tumbleweeds up to Turtle Island. And of all the creatures and all the life force, the tumbleweeds were found to be the most productive. We tell that message to our children. Never see yourself as useless. There is not a creation of Ussen that is useless on this planet. We live peacefully on Turtle Island, but there will be strife and there will be battle. But love is equal, for we love all. Thank you for serving.